Okay, so Paranormal is literally ghost and possession. That's what I'm going by, Paranormal. So I'm going to start with an unusual one because it's not... It is paranormal, it's possession, but it's not at the same time. It can also be zombies and found footage. It's the Italian, isn't it? The Italian zombie possession film series Wreck. Now, if you've never seen Wreck, then you need to watch it because it's not... It gives you a really claustrophobic feeling. It's quite intimidating and quite frightening at times, but absolutely genius. And the second film is probably better than the first one, and the third one's just borderline cheesy. The way that it's revealed its possession is because they tried to do an exorcism on someone before the first film. That's why it happened. That's why the infection happened. I know, it's weird, a possession infection, and it's only been done in that, and the not-so-good remake, Quarantine. Don't watch Quarantine. It's not as good. Well, you can watch it. I'm not really telling you what to watch and not watch. I'm just saying it's not as good. But yeah, the Wreck films are possession films, even though they're not. What film next? I reckon I might go for a couple of classics here. The Exorcist. Now, if you've not seen it, and you think you're a horror fan, watch it. Because there is no way you can be a horror fan without watching it. With that being said, there was a film recently that I hadn't watched until a couple of weeks ago, and I called myself a horror fan, and I've only just seen it, so works the same way with that, I suppose. The Exorcist is about a girl who gets possessed by a demon, and they perform an exorcism on her. It's not one of the most frightening films, but it's one of the most iconic and one of the most brilliant. It was re-released recently as part of the Warner Bros. Birthday set, so you can probably get it for like a £5 from places. If you've not seen it, watch it, because it's absolute genius, and you need to see it. Next classic I'm going to discuss is a Steven Spielberg film, I believe it is, and the name of the film is Poltergeist. Now, Poltergeist didn't really do much for me. I understand that a lot of people love it and think it's brilliant, but I thought the whole haunted house thing was a bit cheesy and a bit tacky at times. That's just me, though. Very good effects and very iconic, similar to the iconicness of The Exorcist. And I suppose at times it is a little bit frightening because everything moves in the house, but it's not, say, as fear-striking as some of the next films that I'm going to mention for the paranormal ones. Okay, so Insidious 1 and Insidious 2. Now, if you've not seen them and you think, oh, people are just saying that it's good, but it's probably complete crap. That was my attitude to the film series about 2 years ago until I watched the first Insidious. My God, that was brilliant. It's probably one of the reasons why I'm still into horror now, but from start to finish, it was like full, not the first Insidious one I'm at the minute. It wasn't full of jump scares, but the story was good, and it left a lot of questions unanswered, which were answered in the second one, but it was quite well made and very well scripted. Now, the second one was better, mainly because Darth Maul wasn't in it. Now, if you've not seen Insidious 1, the main bad guy looks like Darth Maul, but it's so... Insidious 2 holds my favourite jump scare. I've already discussed these films to depth in my review, so if you go down and watch them. But there's a bit where, to begin with, she's only described as the woman in white. She sings "Row, row, row your boat," and she just appears from nowhere, goes up to the room, takes the baby from the first film, and the baby's mum goes into the room where she was to begin with, and she just appears from nowhere and she just slaps her. And it's one of the biggest jump scares you'll ever see, because even though when you know what's going to come, it's still going to make you jump. And it also, for some reason, I nearly burst out laughing. If you've not seen the film, there's a bit in this ghost world where The main male character is in there and he's trying to get out, and this thing goes in front of him but he can't see it, but the person who he was with cuts it and he goes, "He's got your baby, he's got your baby, he's got your baby." It was just that, and it nearly caused me to start laughing because it was quite comical at the time, and it still is. But Insidious 2, you need to watch that one as well. Now, I've saved this one for last because it's a potential candidate for Film of the Year for me. And it scared the hell out of me. It's The Conjuring. Now, The Conjuring comes out on DVD in late November, early December, I think. And it's one of the most scariest films I have ever seen. It's probably the only film that I've seen that's actually scared me. Now, I don't want to ruin it. I reviewed it. Watch that if you want to hear me talk about it. But you need to see that because it, from start to finish, it's quite jump scary and it's absolute genius. The worst thing is, it's based on a true story. I know most of these horror films that say based on a true story aren't, but this one actually was, and it is quite fearful. So watch it, and you will either love it and be terrified by it, or hate it and be terrified by it. There are some people who said that they weren't scared by it at all. But I honestly thought that it had a hell of a lot of jump scares in and left me on the edge of my seat for the majority of the film. So, one more video to do for the Halloween film playlist set. Everything else.